RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. What's up? My name is Tara Devlin. Thanks for hanging out. How's the sound? I need my producers to tell me how's the sound. There's a dog outside my door, and he's barking. That's the neighbor's dog, in case you hear him. He's barking. All right, this is Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. You better believe it. And we need that. And honestly, I'm really scared right now. I see everything that's going on. And I'm really concerned that we're, slipping into fascism. I don't really want to deal with fascism. I would rather tear this country apart as far as splitting it up. But we'll get to that in a minute. So let me just do the plugs and tell everybody, in case you're new, where you can help us, support us, and find us and keep coming back, because this is where you're going to meet great, amazing people. And we will have he is known as Mark C. Mark, I should have gotten his pronunciation. Ciociola? He could tell me when we get on the phone. He's going to call in from Mark from radicalU.com. He's going to call in, and we're going to talk about, he's going to help us survive these fascist attempted coup. Right now it's an attempted coup. I don't know why Trump isn't arrested. God damn it. What the fuck? Why don't, hold on. All right. So professional around here. You guys, I guess the audio is okay? Okay, good. Because I need you to tell me. How's it going? All right. So thank you. If you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/Tara Devlin, because that will keep this show going. And more importantly, they're all important, going and growing. Otherwise, we're done. We don't have big billionaire benefactors. That sounds better. That's it. We don't have big billionaire benefactors. They're too busy fomenting coups. And that's what's happening. It's not the first time. It's not the last time. I don't know. Will it be? It's just the next time at this point. But will they be successful? I have to turn the light on, too. And we'll go through some. Let me just start, actually, before Mark gets here, and we can talk about. I don't know. I'm trying to think because Mark is going to call in at 8:30, and that will be our time to really, just talk about how we're going to get through this fascist time. But in the meantime, I just thinking today and watching what's going on. The truckers in Canada, the effing fascists in this country, spreading lies. That's what they're doing. And it's not coming from, the lies aren't coming from some obscure podcaster. Because, as far as conservatives are concerned, if there is an obscure podcaster, they'll fund that obscure podcaster, because they know their evil message has to get into the ears of every dumbass, and it gets into the ears through racism. That's the crack. People. There's a famous saying, something about cracks in people. That's where the light gets in. I agree. Yeah. You're hurt, those wounds usually kind of, I would think, if you're doing work on yourself, they make you a better person. But with Republicans, they're perfect. So that's what's the first problem. They're sick. They project this image of perfection. They're not perfect. They're disgusting. They're filthy fascists, and they're disgusting. I don't know why. Here's the problem. This is what is what concerns me. And obviously, I didn't do the plugs, but who cares? We're just getting into it. The most important plug is to become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And if you're on any other platform right now, like Facebook, for example, come on over to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster to keep, to not just, I was going to say keep us going and growing, but but also to hang out with all the cool people. And that's who I'll be talking to. All right. I mean, I'll see other chats, but it's rare. I'll see your chat later, but I'm really monitoring the YouTube. And right now, I want to say thank you, Richard W., for your super chat, and thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Oh well, Richard first of all says another great show. Yep, I agree. It's going to be great because Mark is coming on. So, and thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Jim says, evening all. And Errol Thomas, thank you so much for your super chat. When will Republic clowns ever gonna learn how to smarten up and start see things the way us progressive liberals do? Well, I guess that would be the first of never, perhaps. There's something fundamentally sick in them. And rather than their leadership encourage them to get the help they need, they encourage and cultivate the sickness. Well, let me just start off with this, because this is kind of a good way to get into everything. We'll talk about the truckers. I mean, the truck thing is an AstroTurf it's not organization, an AstroTurf funded uprising, and it's being encouraged by the fascists at Fox News, who are also outright lying to their dumbasses, the victims. They're not viewers, they're victims, and they're doing it to foment, to really put the nail in the coffin of democracy. Like they've been trying. Billionaires and the 1% have been trying to overthrow democracy since the founders signed the Declaration of Independence. They don't like democracy. They don't want it. It's too pesky. It's too annoying. It makes them pay taxes. It makes them pay the price of admission for civilization. They want all the benefits of civilization, but they want none of the responsibilities we have to each other, because in their minds, they don't have any responsibilities to us. That's why they can, we're just nothing but hosts from which to suck profit and discard. And in the meantime, they will let us fight over the scraps. And they keep pouring fuel on the fire, throwing red meat. And if there's any good news that comes out of, let's say, the Biden administration, they will counter that news with outright lies. But let me just see. I just saw this tweet earlier, and it really pissed me off. And it's an example of what we have to live with. And because the thing is, they're in their gated communities. They're in their ivory towers. They're in their fucking wine caves. And they're not out here living in the consequences of their actions. So they just throw the match, light the fuse or whatever, pour the gasoline and light the fuse and walk away and laugh. Because they know how stupid the very loud minority is. They're the minority. There are more of us, and I don't know. It's very disturbing. So let me just show you first off. And then, guys, if the audio is effed up in any way, I saw Winston said earlier the audio sounded good, but if it somehow goes off track, you guys will tell me. So I don't know. It just feels weird. It still sounds weird in my headphones, so I don't know really what's going on. All right. As long as it sounds good to you. Okay, that's not the one, but it will be. I wanted to read something from Rolling Stone. Wait, but that's not it. Hold on, hold on. Beep-a-beep-a-ba-da. Here, these tweets right here. I just, looking at Twitter. Salam Bati this is a Twitter account at SALAAM. That's his Twitter. So he's the deputy director of the the Virginia Poverty Law Center. All right, he's got this is his Twitter account. So this is what he says. My pregnant wife. So obviously oh wait, hold on, guys. It's a cliffhanger. Be right back. This is Tara Devlin. Unapologetic liberal talk. Come back. All right, we're back. My name is Tara Devlin, Unapologetic Liberal Talk. And yeah, that's it. This is the best liberal talk show you'll ever encounter. As far as, I say to myself. Okay, Salam Bati, Bhatti. He's the deputy director of the Virginia Poverty Law Center. Anyway, so he tweets today, my pregnant wife, nearly full term, was with our 3-year-old at the park enjoying a lovely day. A lady walks by and says, "You're having another one? Lord help us. Go back to your country." She's never experienced this kind of hatred. Wait, this fucking thing is moving. Okay. And for our son to see it so early in his life is upsetting. It's upsetting to me. Who are these people? You're having another one? Lord help us. Go back to your country. Now, who would you rather have in this country? That old, angry, racist cracker? Or somebody who works for the Virginia Poverty Law Center? I think I'm seeing the problem here. I think something's wrong with one of the cables. I might have to change them up. All right, I know. It's part of why, I ask for patrons. This is what you get. Fuck. You know what I mean? This is a one-man band. I don't see Diamond and Silk having to deal with this. That's because they get funding. All right? And I'm not blaming you guys. But this is what we do. We do it anyway. And I appreciate everybody who understands that, because we're doing this liberal talk anyway to try to break through the lies. And it's absolutely necessary. So it is what it is at this point. So he tweets, it continues. A man had been standing nearby with his kid when this happened. He asked Hina what the lady said, and the man was so angry to hear and apologize, saying that it isn't what this neighborhood is like. We know because we lived here for years without issue. Hina is one of the strongest and smartest people I know. She teaches sociology at a community college, leads a Muslim women's group that helps the less fortunate in Richmond, and helps Afghans get out of their war-torn nation. She's a beautiful part of our commonwealth. Exactly. And a beautiful part of humanity. Somebody who gives a crap about other people. And what is this lady's damage? That she could walk by a mother and her child and disparage them because they have darker pigment. That's what it's about. These monsters, and that woman is a monster. I'm sure she thinks she's great. I'm sure she thinks she's a wonderful person. She probably is a Christian. She goes to church. She goes, where Jesus bathed in the Lamb of the water, right? That's what she does. She's such a good egg. You know her. She's wonderful. But how dare she? It's like you have to walk around with a goddamn body camera. constantly, right? Catching these pricks on tape, but the woman didn't have one. So the lady walks on by and she goes right home, said, goes about her life. Unreal. Vile. So he continues, I was in the office when Hina called. I never heard her like this. I left the office and met my wife and son at the park, my mind racing the entire time. What if the lady comes back and says or does something? Is this the only time this will happen? Will things get worse? Yes, they will, because the fascist freaks have been let out of the belfry. They're flying around, the flying monkeys, and they're emboldened by their dim leader. They're emboldened by the right-wing media, and they they're very dangerous. They're damaging this country the way they are damaged. They are, that's the thing. They can't change to, they can't evolve and lift themselves up to the level required to function in democracy. Mother effer. Hello. I'm crying. Driving and crying. What the? Hold on, guys. It's always something. Alright. Fucking shit. This is embarrassing. What are you going to do? Somebody left a message on one of the videos like, oh, it's you like fumbling with your mic. Bye, Felicia. Fuck off. You know what I mean? Become a patron, motherfucker. Or do your own show and then see, you know what I mean? Do your own show. Get your $1 million studio together and shut the fuck up. Oh, you're fumbling with the mic. Oh, it sounds like, she said, it sounds like Charlie Brown at class saying, wah, 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 wah. Bye, Felicia. Shut the fuck up. You know, that's what I have to deal with. And that's a liberal. You know what I mean? That's a liberal for you. That's what they do. And this is why we're in this boat. Frankly, it really is. We're in this boat because we're up against billionaires. And half of the American people think, I don't know, what the fuck do they think? That they're I don't know. I don't really know. That everything's cool and people suck. That's why I love animals. All right. How are we doing? Let me check in on the chat. I might have lost half of you. How is it sounding? Yeah. It's the show. She keeps asking, how's the mic? Shut the fuck up. It doesn't sound good in my headphones, but okay. We're doing it anyway, just like everything. You do it anyway. Right? Errol Tom says, tell him, Tara. Nicole Sandler would also do the same thing as well. Yeah. People do suck, says Terry Taylor. They do. It's like they don't understand what we're up against. And, you know, go annoy somebody who sucks. You know, we're here trying to make the world a better place. Like, shut the fuck up. Oh, the mic is like, nah. Shut the fuck. I'm sorry, I'm cursing up a storm. But what do you expect with this microphone? Right? Jesus, I don't know. Everything sucks. I need a new... That's why I say become a patron. If you can. What do you think? Then I can get some help. Then I can get a good mic and setup. Instead of having me and my producer stepping on the keyboard. All right, so to finish up, oh Jesus Christ! I just don't leave. So The show's not always like this. Come back. All right. So he continues that he went to meet his wife at the park. I don't know. So he says, will things get worse? I don't know the answer. I share this here because I live in Virginia and I want it on record. My son will start school in a couple of years. If he's young enough to experience this, then kids are old enough to learn about it in school. Absolutely. Also, regarding go back to your country, my wife is from the magical land known as Illinois, the land of Lincoln. And while she misses where she grew up, at Richmond, Virginia, our home, where she grew up, Richmond, Virginia is our home and where we are raising our children. It's 2022. And he finishes, that racist lady needs to read The Room. Yeah, she does, but I have to say, she is reading The Room. She is getting permission to be a filthy, disgusting racist. And the person like her is opening the door to a fascist coup. And it's happening. That's what's going on in Canada. And they're, it's funded just like the Tea Party was funded by billionaires. That was not a spontaneous grassroots movement. It was an AstroTurf funded movement, not even movement, dupes. Dupes apply, and they eagerly apply. But it was funded by billionaires because the bottom line is billionaires don't want democracy, just like they tried to overthrow FDR and install a fascist state. And that's not, I don't know why that's not it taught in high school, at least, right? I didn't learn that in high school. It seems almost fantastical, but it's the goddamn truth. Smedley, if not for Smedley Butler, it would have succeeded. If they had reached out, like, for example, if in this coup, if not for Brad Raffensperger, for Pence, for the people, and I'm not patting any of these scums on the back. They are still scum, fascist scum. All of them. They did something right for once. Okay, good. They didn't go completely to the coup, but they've been working on it a long time. They're part of it. They voted for Trump. They enabled this disgusting, divisive, entire, I don't even know what. They enabled it. They enabled the scumbag coming down the escalator calling Mexicans rapists. They voted for that. So what do they expect? Of course it's going to a coup. We were warned. That's what Michael Cohen said. If he loses, there will not be a peaceful transfer of power. And here we are. And the idiots are running free and rampant. Right? I'm just checking the phone. Okay. Okay, hold on. I got, look at this. Here's Smedley Butler exposing the business plot. Whoops, sorry. Wrong button.
I appeared before the Congressional Committee, the highest representation of the American people, under subpoena to tell what I knew of activities which I believe might lead to an attempt to set up a fascist dictatorship. The plan as outlined to me was to form an organization of veterans, to use as a bluff or as a club at least, to intimidate the government and break down our democratic institutions. The upshot of the whole thing was that I was supposed to lead an organization of 500,000 men, which would be able to take over the functions of government. I talked with an investigator for this committee who came to me with a subpoena on Sunday, November 18th. He told me they had unearthed evidence linking my name with several such veteran organizations. As it then seemed to me to be getting serious, I felt it was my duty to tell all I knew of such activities to this committee. My main interest in all this is to preserve our democratic institution. I want to retain the right to vote, the right to speak freely, and the right to write. If we maintain these basic principles, our democracy is safe. No dictatorship can exist with suffrage, freedom of speech, and press.
Wow. No dictatorship can exist with suffrage, freedom of speech, and freedom of the press. Well, we have freedom of the press, but we have corporate media. We have a concentrated, deregulated corporate media that made this possible. And they're outright lying. For example, when President Biden's got the good news about the jobs that in the first year of his administration, there were more jobs created in record. I don't know, when was the last time let me see here. Look at that. So first year, Trump, 2 million. First year, Biden, 6.6 million. And they had to do something about that. There was too much good news. And if there's not, well, they were preparing. They were salivating. It really looked like it was like foreplay for them. Setting people up. What is he going to do when the numbers come out and they're bad? That's how you have to talk like that, because it's like from the bowels of hell. Oh, they just made shit up. And it's not Fox News. It's not just Fox News. Look at this montage. Here they are lying about saying that Joe Biden is going to fund crack pipes, people getting crack pipes. But it's nefarious. These fuckers are nefarious. They're talking about a harm reduction program that is effective and works to help people find recovery and help people not die. But nobody's giving anybody crack pipes, but it doesn't matter. They're outright lying. And here's the montage.
This morning, we're learning that HHS, Health and Human Services, is considering spending $30 million on crack pipes, handing out crack pipes to drug addicts.
We're a country of drugs all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Crack pipes and meth pipes targeting minority communities.
Bullshit.
$30 million to distribute crack pipes.
And look at the way they're phrasing it. Like it's all, they're concerned about minority communities. Right? They're so concerned about minority communities, they're preventing minority communities from voting, blocking them, gerrymandering them out of existence. That's what they're doing, effectively, thanks to the fascist fucks on the Supreme Court. And I guess tonight there's going to be a lot of cursing. Maybe when Mark gets here, he'll talk me off the ledge a little bit, but we'll see.
Also giving crack pipes to criminals using taxpayer dollars.
Doesn't sound
Emergency
official.
COVID bill, which had nothing to do with COVID, has more to do with crack pipes.
Can you believe these shameless scums? And it's completely false. And it's not just Fox News. You saw Rubio, this guy here, Kennedy. I hate this guy. I hate he to me he looks like walking phlegm. He's phlegm made into the shape of a man. That's what he looks like. That's what he sounds like. His homey, folksy bullshit. Like, we got a saying over here in old Virginia or wherever the fuck Louisiana. We got a saying, if that dog don't hunt, he won't hump your leg. So this bill isn't going anywhere. And it's crack pipes coming. The lies. I hate them because of everything. But on top of everything else, they hate America. You understand? They hate it so much that they are lying to their dumbasses, and they don't care how it affects them. They don't care that they're tickling the racist funny bones, and they don't care that people are being assaulted and being and that communities are being torn apart by this. They don't care. It doesn't matter. It's all about destroying democracy. So how do we do it? How do we get through this? I know I have my struggles I share with you guys, and it's not easy. It is not easy, and we need each other, and we need help. But really, that's the base. That's the basics of democracy. We're in this together. Human beings are interdependent. We're sick if we're at each other's throats. That's what the Republicans want. All right, we're back. Unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. And we talk about the whole package here on Tarabuster. And tonight, let me see. Oh, we got Mark on the phone. Hold on. Mark?
Hey,
Hello?
Tara, you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, yeah. So there's always a second of anxiety when I click that button, and I hope that people are there. So yes, Mark C, who you guys know in the chat. Mark, how do you pronounce your last name?
Well, two ways of pronouncing it, Tara. One of the anglicized way is Ciociola, like Coca-Cola.
Okay.
And the other way would be Ciociola in the Italian.
Okay, so I completely mangled it. So great. I'm glad
No, actually you didn't. No, you
I
said
did?
Ciociola, I think.
I said
like that. Yeah, you're fine.
I said Ciociola. That's what I said. Yeah, or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. But it's good that you're
it's
here.
fine. You know, when I was a kid, I always knew when the teacher came to my name because they would kind of look and stammer and kind of look around.
Right. So Mark, Mark sent me a little thing. Mark has a background in vocational rehabilitation counseling as a practitioner and an administrator for nearly 30 years. And he recently retired from Vermont and moved to Florida. Good luck with that. And Mark says he likes to joke he went from the most politically progressive place in the nation to the most regressive, but likes the challenge. Well, that's good. Well, Mark, what is your website, A Radical You? What is that about?
Yeah, so it's basically radicalu.com is about helping to facilitate people's personal and ultimately their spiritual growth.
Right.
And so I'm committed to if I'm committed to meeting people where they are and to talk about what's going on existentially with them, and then if they so desire to want to move into more of a spiritual realm of what does this all mean and all that, I'm more than happy to explore that with them. And I'm a big proponent of letting people take the lead, and I'm not an advice giver whatsoever. I'm more of a facilitator of what people are looking for, and then having them find really within themselves what is most important, what resonates most for them. So it's very person-centered.
Right. And that's wonderful. And that's really the way you make some effective change, is meeting people where they are. And I love I love the page, the website, the splash page. Happiness is your birthright. Time to claim what's rightfully yours. And I that really touches me, because that is it. That's it. We are all, that's our birthright. And it's so sad how off the rails everything is. And it's a sickness, the way people treat each other in the streets now. It's out of control. But that is a reflection of the sickness, right? What do you think?
Absolutely. You know, what it's funny, as you were talking about this, and I've been reflecting on this a lot, you know, when you look outside of what's going on, there are people that run around are just acting out of their fear, truly acting out of abject fear and terror. And so some people deal with that by going very inward and shutting all the doors. And other people, as we've seen, like with the Karens and Kens out there on airplane flights, and in that person that you just from the Poverty Law Center, people are just acting their shit out basically now, and they feel emboldened by it because it started from the top, and we know exactly where that started, and it didn't just begin with Donald Trump. I think that's a mistake that we make, is that this stuff has been going on for a long time. You know, back in the 50s, it was, I think, Richard Hofstadter, who was a historian, you know, wrote about the paranoid style of American politics, and he was basically talking about the John Birchers of their time. Now the John Birchers of our time have a platform, and they've got multiple platforms, and which makes it even more scary.
Right. That's it's true. So how do we live through this? See, when I was reading that tweet from the guy from the Virginia Poverty Law Center, and he said, what's next? What is, you know, I'm trying to remember how he phrased it, but will it get worse? And it reminded me of the experiences of people who were in Nazi Germany, and what were the lines that kept getting crossed. And one of the people I saw on some documentary, he said he was a Jewish man, a German, and you know, full German, loved his country, but he decided to pick up and leave when he heard it was outside of his window. There were people just hanging out and walking around, and he heard one of them start singing a song with the lyrics of "We will bathe in the blood of the Jews," and he said, "That's it, I'm out of here," and that was his line. So he left. He ended up coming to America, and he joined the army, and had a very interesting experience, you know, fighting fascism then and sadly, it breaks my heart that we went from fighting fascism here to emboldening it. And so where's the line? Where?
Well, I think the line is that's the ultimate question, right? And I think everybody has their different tipping points of what that looks like. Frankly, 25 years ago, I was ready to move to Canada. Of course, Canada's having its own problems right now. You know, with the election of George W. Bush, and I kind of saw what was coming back then, that this isn't good, and with 9/11 and then the lies that ensued after that, it made me really give pause to what this country has been turning into, and it's a slow boil, as you can see. You know, I think the important thing that we have to remember, and maybe this is the more optimistic part,
please,
is that
we need that.
I'm trying to pull it from somewhere. There really are more of us than there are of them. There truly are, and I think that it's a matter of coming together. You know, in community, like the community that you form, which is beautiful. And I have to have a big shout out to all my buddies in the chat room. I love them all. They're such great people. And I feel like I've known them for years, you know. And I think that's the thing. And then to find ways to be active even in your community if you can, by joining. I mean, the Democrats have their problems, God knows, but nonetheless, there are local chapters of the Democratic Party in every place, even in Republican red Florida, where I live, where you can begin to make the difference. And I think just backing up a little bit, the other thing too is to believe that you do have that kind of power and that kind of say, and that's part of my work too. Part of my work really is to is for people to see within themselves the power that they really have. That it's not that it even when it appears bleak, the thing to remember is that the people on the other side, so to speak, are more scared than we are.
Right.
They're using worse weaponry for it, but they're the true cowards, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, they are.
Yep. I mean, Donald Trump. You look at Donald Trump's life. This was a man who wasn't loved by anybody.
Right.
I mean, I'm not here to defend him. Believe me, I'm not. But to kind of explain that he was somebody. His mother hated him. His father sent him to boarding school, and he became the monster that he is today. And we see little examples of that in many people that we know. And so part of it is, if before they get to that point, to reach out where we can to say, hey, buddy, what's really going on with you? What's really happening? If you can. I mean, there are people, and this is the maybe not an optimistic part, is that there are people out there right now that are gone. I really feel as though they are. And the best you can do with those folks is marginalize or contain them as much as you possibly can, personally and hopefully through government action, like I'm in Canada right now. I mean, the next step is arrest these people who are on the bridge and who are causing all kinds of problems. That's and you have to fight. This isn't when I say I have a spiritual bent to me, that doesn't mean lay down and let people walk all over you either. It absolutely doesn't mean that.
That's it.
There's got to be a fight as part of this as well, and it's uncomfortable.
Hold on a second, Mark. We will be right back with Mark C. from aradicalU.com. All right, we're back. I didn't attempt your name in the. So I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So
Mark C.
Yes, we're back with Mark C. from A Radical U, and I'm listening to you, I feel better already. Just really, but go.
Part of it too is to recognize. I mean, one of the things that we have to do. And I didn't make this term up, but it's a term that another Tara Brach. I don't know if you know her or not. She's a Buddhist psychologist.
Oh, okay.
And she talks about this thing called RAIN. It's an acronym, and when she says when you're confronted with something, either personally or whatever, is the first thing to do is to recognize, yes, this is happening. You don't sugarcoat it. You don't put it under the rug or any of that kind of stuff. It's right out there. Accept it. Not accept as in blind resignation. Accept, yes, this in fact is happening. Investigate what you can do, if anything, to make it better, and then finally if you can, to nurture that part of you, or the part of it's like somebody else, to get to a better place. So, it's a matter of trying to, figure out with each other where those lines are, of who you can help, who you can't help.
Right. But I'm sure a lot of people now are suffering in general. We're all suffering.
Yeah.
Like we talk on the show about. I do believe this whole country is suffering from PTSD, and
absolutely,
so where there has to be, and I love what you're saying about recognizing and acceptance. But I know what you mean. It doesn't mean just rolling over, but it is recognizing the problem and having the courage to recognize that. But I guess I feel, as far as our country is concerned, I feel very, pessimistic because the Democrats in leadership seem like they're not recognizing the big problem that, they're like, I'm bringing the Republicans and see, we're working together. Like and meanwhile, there's a whole infrastructure of propaganda meant to undermine anything that will unify us. And really, that's what it's about. They don't want us to be unified. And I hear you. And it's, to me, that's the biggest crime that these people have perpetrated on the country as a whole, to divide us. For greed, really, just for greed. That's it. And
it
everyone's
really comes
suffering.
Down to follow the money, right?
Right. So, but you work with, I mean, that's really we can only really, we do what we can, and working with people individually is that really means a lot, because you help somebody, that you help the world, really. And
that's it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely. I think a lot of us carry around with us. I think I mentioned this in when I wrote to you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us carry around with us our inner fascists.
Right.
And that inner fascist is somebody who has sort of accepted authoritarianism in their own life. Their parents, and we didn't have much of a choice when we were kids. Let's face it. But the hallmark of being an adult is recognizing that the world can be a scary place, but you can overcome these dangers by standing up and recognition, awareness. Those are really important things to make a difference with yourself, and then ultimately with other people. And I think as our inner fascist recedes, we have the opportunity to question the dominant paradigm out there. Because it's not what mom and dad or some authority figure told us necessarily is the truth. The truth is something you find for yourself, and we're finding that even truth has become a fungible item, right?
Right. Definitely.
that there's no such thing as truth. We have alternative facts now. They're called,
right. Unreal. But I see in your what you wrote to me, you talked about your spiritual teacher, G.P. Walsh. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. I discovered him because I went through my own suffering. I think we all do.
Me too.
Personally,
and that's good.
Yeah. When I felt I was at a point in my life where it got hard to get up in the morning just to go to work and to even function. I was barely functioning. I've been through therapy. I think all of us have been through therapy, and therapy is fine for what it does. I mean, I think what it tries to make a better version of you, but it doesn't really get to the core oftentimes.
Right.
Like who am I really in this world, and where do I belong, and all that. So G.P. Walsh has part of his teaching, and he'd be the first one to say to you, look, I'm no God or anything like that. I'm just another guy who's discovered this stuff for himself. Again, it's recognizing the awareness within yourself, recognizing the truth of who you are. You're not really your thoughts. You're not really your circumstances. Those things change. The thing that never changes is you, the awareness who is you, and that you it can't be touched by circumstances, really. It seems that that's not true, but it really is true, because really what we are at our core are happy, creative people. But it's been covered over and covered over and covered over for a lifetime virtually, because of conditioning and all of those things. And so what we try to do, and what taught me, and what I'm trying to teach now, is that you can rediscover that within yourself.
Right. And it's reminding me, my father used to tell me that I was a very happy baby, right? Like whenever I was having, when I was going through my struggles, he'd say, "What happened? You were such a happy baby." And that used to make me sad, because I thought, we're supposed to be happy. I was a happy baby because I was born, and, the world was wonderful and I had no clue. And that's how we are all born. And
Right.
It's a real shame, I think, that when I just that, and that's what we do, what we talk about on the show, about helping other people. You help other people, you help yourself, and if anybody is hungry and homeless and suffering, we're all suffering. And we all, even the assholes at the top, they're suffering too, and
they're probably suffering the most.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Because they have an edifice they have to maintain. There's a persona who's not the real, that they have to maintain, and so you've got to create all these layers and layers and layers.
Right.
And, it's by no accident that these people live in gated communities because you have to be that much removed from the world. You know.
That's true, really. And the accumulation of stuff. Everybody wants stuff. I like my, whatever I have. I don't even know. I like my TV channels or something. I don't know. Yeah, I like to have stuff, right? We all do. But there's a level of, and there are the studies, of course, where once you hit a certain amount, is that you have enough to live on and be happy and, have a decent middle-class life. You don't get any more happiness the more zeros that are on your bank account. And I have to say, it's reminding me, okay, you guys know whatever, I'm in recovery and all. And I met a very famous actor, and I won't tell you his name, but he's somebody who everybody knows, and you've seen all his movies. And girls have pictures of him on their wall and all that. And he shared with me that he was ready to kill himself, and he was actually at in a hotel, sitting on the hotel ledge, and that was his bottom when he was like, okay, I'm about to kill myself. Like, what the fuck? And he's come a long way, but then it struck me that, it doesn't matter if you have all this money and all the accolades and girls have pictures of you on their wall. If you're not okay inside, nothing outside is going to make you okay. You have to,
That's
really is from the inside out. And the spirit, there are spiritual laws of the universe. And that's why I love what you wrote too about a radical you, saying that you focus not on, and on your YouTube channel, people's personal and spiritual growth, because it's all connected. That's for sure. And that doesn't mean, Jesus or Allah or whatever. It's that the spiritual, connectedness that I mean, in my opinion, but you might have a different take on it. But hold on. We'll be right back with Mark C. from RadicalU.com. Can you hear the music, Mark? I'm wondering.
No, I don't hear the music.
You don't hear the music. Okay, so now that's fucked up again. You're supposed to be able to hear the music. But everybody can hear you, so because the way it's
okay.
Anyway, when you were on hold, did you hear the show?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's weird. Okay, I'll have to figure out why it's not. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's get back to the show. So, we're talking to Mark C. from RadicalU.com, and he is whatever. He's also in the Tarabuster chat room all the time if you want to hang out too.
That's my therapy too.
Right, it's therapy.
Believe me. I got to unload myself sometimes, and we have some great conversations in there.
Yep. That's what I love, and I don't know how I would have gotten through this pandemic, and it's still not over, of course, but without you guys, just without you, without the show, without our community, and it's kept us connected, kept me connected. Let me speak for myself. And it's another, we need each other. This is the bottom line.
Absolutely.
Right?
But I just want to do a shout out to Mark, the other Mark M, who's doing some great work on Shaping Progress. And I really appreciate, I wish I had his energy when I was his age.
I know.
Because he's just incredibly gifted, and I think he's going to go some places with the work that he's doing.
I do too, and it's watching him, and also, just he's such a young man, and he, like you're saying, he's doing some incredible work at shaping progress, but his heart is so amazing and that's he cares. He wants to make the world a better place, and he's active. He's not just sitting around complaining. And also, I mean, he's really wise beyond his years too. I don't know. We need about 1 million more of him, as we need about 1 million more of you.
and you know what? I think there are 1 million more like him, maybe in different forms, but you know, we're just the people that are in the chat room, you know, they're part of that as well. They're amazing, and they're going to be doing their part, you know, to make this world a better place. And that's how it really begins, you know. And we often think we have to get it perfect, you know. We have to somehow figure it all out or have it all in front of it. That's not the way it works. I mean, even tonight, I was watching you before I went on, and you had some problems with your microphone. That's life. That's what really happens in this world. You know? And you're putting yourself, and you're out there, and you're vulnerable, and the work of Brene, maybe some folks, maybe you've heard of Brene Brown. She's a kind of a thought leader, and she talks about that vulnerability really is the birthplace of happiness and the birthplace of creativity. And so we fuck up. So what?
It's true. You know? It's very true. I guess I was hearing that critical woman in my head, you know, because somebody posted about, you're fussing with the microphone, you know.
And that's the old and that voice is the voice of maybe somebody from your past, or you know, who said, you didn't do it good enough.
That's right.
You know,
it's never good enough, right? It's true.
Right.
Very true. And we have those old tapes. You know, it's real. And I always say my mother and father could push my buttons because they installed the buttons, so they knew exactly where they were. So they would my mother would push them. She was good at that. Yeah. But yes, but I just wonder, what do you think about? What do you think about the prospects of this country? What are you optimistic ultimately, or what do you feel?
Oh boy,
that's a big
question.
one, right?
I think I hold out hope still that we might pull a rabbit out of our hat in the midterms, just because the other side is just so egregious, and they just show us who they are every single day. I mean, how low you think they can go low. They've hit the sub basement, you know. And I think that for people, if we can get people out to vote, which is in itself is going to be a little problematic because it's a midterm. People are a little pissed off about inflation right now and supply chain, yada yada yada. But I think that if we can make the case, and it's kind of a two-edged sword. We make the case why we're better, because, you know, we are, as you say, on the right side of history. And even though, you know, Build Back Better was a shit show, I still think the potential is there for that to happen. And the only way that's going to happen is if we elect the right people. So there's that piece. And also to keep revealing what the other side is doing. And part of that we might get a little bit of that during these hearings that are coming up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Starting in April.
That's true.
And so I think, you know, as we did in Watergate, I'm old enough to remember, I was very young at the time, but the Watergate hearings and people seeing on a day-to-day basis the criminality of the Nixon administration, which now looks like a circus show compared to what we're going through now.
It's true.
You know?
Nixon,
so I guess I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Right. Well, I get optimistic every now and then.
But I also think it could go south too.
Right.
Sorry.
And I really don't think we'll survive if they get any power in the midterms. That's going to be a real problem because it will be illegitimate.
Yeah, and they've already shown us who they are.
Right.
I mean, and Newt Gingrich, God bless him, in kind of a roundabout way, he told us what they're going to do. They're going to round up the January 6th committee, and they want to throw them in jail.
Right.
You know,
wow.
So they, you know, what's the expression when they show you who they are, believe them.
Right. Yep. That's true. And but what scares me is that people, when we talk about truth, the currency of truth has been so devalued that it seems they're being told that everything's a lie. So they still are the minority, and that's why. I mean, if we had a functioning democratic process that wasn't so rigged, I would have more optimism because I know they're the minority, but I wonder if because of how they've gerrymandered everything and
voter suppression too.
Exactly. Just wondering, have you ever in your practice had a right winger who you treated?
No, not really. But
I'm just wondering, like somebody comes in is like, Q, the election's stolen. And, right? I wonder, how do you handle it?
Well, I'd have to try to keep a neutral stance while trying to work with them. But I do have people where I live now in Florida, for better or for worse. And there are people with whom I disagree. And what we kind of come to is a place of agree to disagree. You know, that's sort of a truce is the best I can muster, because if I really start to get into it with them, and these are long held, and some of it, frankly, is underneath. Some of it is racism.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's something that I just have a hard time, dislodging.
Right. Hold on. We'll be right back with Mark C., RadicalU.com. So I'm sorry if you usually the guests could hear the music, so I got to fix that. I don't know. I don't even touch any buttons, and it's so frustrating. I don't know how it gets off whack, but then it's off whack, and okay. Anyway, yes.
Anyway,
and what you wrote to me, we are not broken beings that need to be fixed, but are playing out our conditioned patterns, and I agree 100%. And the question about do you have any right wingers, I'm not surprised that you wouldn't really have many right wingers because they don't have the courage to seek help, it seems to me. And they're so conditioned by this bullshit, like you have to be perfect, you have to be great, right? I mean, because it takes courage to ask for help,
Yeah, it's sort of the way a lot of us we operate sort of as if we're all these separate beings that don't really impact each other, and yet we do. And so there's sort of this lack of awareness there, and you see this kind of being played out with people who refuse to wear masks, even if you are immunocompromised, and you could be killing somebody and not know it. They don't give a shit. You know? And so there's a lack of awareness there, and I think sometimes for some people, they have to have it hit. They have to be hit by the cosmic 2x4. So they have, and even then, I mean, I thought, well, gee, if some of these people get COVID, then maybe, and not that I was wishing this upon anybody, but that maybe they would kind of see the light. But you have people literally on their deathbeds saying, that's not COVID. It's a lie.
Wait, hold on a second. The music just started playing in my ear, like the beginning. Everything's fucked up today. It's so weird. Oh my God.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Mercury and retrograde or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something went wrong. Anyway, sorry. It's going again. What the fuck is going on? I pressed the button. I fucked it up. Okay. All right. I just screwed up. What time is it? 9 o'clock. I just fucked up the cues again. So hold on.
Oh.
I know. It's okay. I'll have to fix it later. I'll fix it in post. So it's 9 o'clock. We started at 8. This is what I got to do. I got to rewind the music an hour. Okay, let's do it here. We'll start it here and hope for the best. All right. Fucking shit. Hold on, guys. This is what I'm talking about. All right. Play.
Become a patron.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Why isn't it working? Hold on, everybody. Oh, brother. Well, thank you for being here in the craziness. My God. And thank you really for being a part of the community. I listening to you, and I'm like, you're amazing. And I'm so blown away by everyone who is a patron and joins the chat room and this community. Everyone is like just so amazing, and I can't thank you all enough, and I can't thank you enough, Mark, for everything, for being in the chat room, for coming on the show tonight and talking about your practice. So wait, hold on, let me get this going again. Play. Okay, it's going. All right. It's just timing. The thing that sucks is that I do have to time it out on PV on this night. Other nights it's a free for all, but everything's fucked up. So anyway, and apparently nobody can hear the music, so that's a problem. Okay, it's okay. Everything's fucked, but it's okay. Like you said, we do it anyway, and we take it. We embrace the cracks in everything. There's a lot of cracks on the show. Anyway, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It is.
Look,
that's
what
now
Bill
you're
O'Reilly says. We'll do it live.
Right. I'm so glad you're here to be so kind and nice and understanding. I have to fix all this shit. So tell everybody where they can go and hire you or get your help or whatever. Yeah. I mean, and it's not. I'm the first to admit that what I do isn't for everyone, and that's really okay too. That's fine. But I can be found at RadicalU, all one word.com. I think you put it in the. In the text box, and I appreciate that. Yes.
And I also do videos too, and usually around things like, I did one recently about creativity, because I think again we are innately creative, but we don't think we're creative because we've been told we're not creative, and then we find that it's not safe to be creative because when I made the picture of the elephant when I was 7 years old. The teacher came and said, that's the worst thing I ever saw, and you'll never draw an elephant again.
Oh, no,
but
that's terrible.
I'm not.
What?
But no.
I'm sorry. Maybe that's not the point. Okay.
No, it didn't necessarily happen to me. I was using it as an example.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens to people. Then it becomes not safe to show who you really are.
Right. Right.
Somebody who likes to sing but was told they don't have a great voice, and so they put it away and keep it on the shelf for the rest of their lives, and then they wonder why they're so unhappy. That kind of stuff.
Right.
And yet if someone were to show them, it might be safe for that part of you to be revealed, and we can work on what that safety would look like. Then we could make some strides, and move forward.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mark. And everybody.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And, we'll talk again. And we will definitely talk on the chat room, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah. And check my videos are under my name, Mark C. Just Mark C.
I'll have to update the description, and I'll put your link in the description. I should have done that. I should have. Yeah, I will. So the link will be in the description, and check it out. The videos are so helpful, and I love them. And check them. They're really, when I'm feeling down and hopeless or pessimistic. They are definitely the right medicine. So you'll, I hope, I hope everybody checks them out. I'll put the link in the description. So, all right, Mark.
All right.
Thank you so
much, Tara, and love you. Love all you guys.
Love you.
Chat too. Take care. Okay.
I'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
All righty. Thank you, Mark. What a great interview. Mark did all the talk. I suck at interviewing, as you can tell, but it was really helpful to me as well. I hope it was helpful to you. So go to Mark's website, aradicalu.com, and also, like I said, I'll put the links in the description of the show. And I'm all right. I had no idea everything was all fucked up as far as the music, and that you weren't hearing the music. That's what the fuck. It makes me so mad. That's not a good look either. All right. What are we talking about? So, and I have to say, what we were just talking about with Mark, it is what we're talking about here too, in general, because I truly believe this is what it's about. This country is spiritually sick, most of all. Unfortunately, I mean, the heartbreak is that our founding documents and the way we were supposed to be set up were, of course, the hypocrisy of the founders aside, and that they're just another example of people who have blind spots, and their blaring blind spot was that they didn't think anybody else had value, and nobody else counted or mattered as obviously as a human being. But we're in this together, and the heartbreak is that it's exactly what our founders wanted. At least inside, they understood the higher value of us getting together, e pluribus unum, that the inherent unfairness and the inherent evil of an intergenerational aristocracy that keeps people has nothing but pawns and hosts from which to suck profit. And Mark mentioned as well, talking about the lies, and it's part of the sickness how there are no consequences for lies in this country. And one of the things that is one of my bugaboos is the fact that there are no consequences. There's no consequences for Republicans when they stir up fear, death panels, and we're going to wake up one day in a country that's not free if Medicare is signed. All of those fears, they're back. They're back in business, baby. They have never stopped, and now they know that they smell blood in the water. What's going on in Canada, for example, is another AstroTurf experience, assault. That's probably the better word. It's an assault on us. It's an assault on e pluribus unum, and it's not the first time. And I hope it will be the last time, but I don't know at this point. Here, let me see. Where is this guy? Yeah, remember this?
Get ready to Tea Party!
April 15th, all across the country, citizens are standing up.
Fox on top of tea parties, full steam ahead.
Americans outraged over unfair and crippling taxes.
How to get involved in the hundreds of Tea Party protests. People,
Americans are outraged about unfair and crippling taxes. What the when? Where? Show me. What are they talking about? What fucking unfair and crippling taxes? Oh, that the rich might get taxed. That's it. Let's get the dumbasses. Let's throw some gasoline out and then light the fuse. That's what they're doing. God help us whenever the rich need to pony up, their fair share. This is what we have to deal with. They can't, I don't know what, they're sick. They're sick, but the country's sick. The society is sick. And this is making me sick, that's for sure.
At a grassroots level, are fed up.
Taking a stand at the Alamo. Citizens revolt against more taxes.
Let's take a look at all the hit shows here at Fox that are going to be covering the Tea Parties.
As Tea Parties sweep the nation on tax day, we're there with total, fair, and balanced network coverage. Live.
What? As Tea Partiers are upset about overtax? What are you talking? Did they get overtaxed? Taxed enough already. That was supposedly the acronym for tea. The Tea Party. We're taxed enough already. Really, honey? Are you talking about the rich who pay a 5%, if that, tax rate on their ill-gotten gains that they do nothing for? They sit around on their asses. Well, you go to work, and then you go to your side gig, and then you go to your, whatever gig. Yeah, your other uniquely American low-paying jobs, and read stories about people who died on their way to their uniquely American low-paying job, third job, because they were cutting their insulin in half. This is where we live. And, and I agree. Mark is talking about the Nixon years and the Watergate hearings being played. I hope that happens. I really do. But right now on page 6 or something, that's where you can find the story in the New York Times, not even 6, I think it's 16, about Trump wiping his ass and with classified documents and flushing it down the toilet. But her emails, right? Those stories didn't have to wait for a book to come out, like Maggie Haberman. These self-seeking, self-serving, what's his name? Bernstein, and am I saying it right? Yeah. He, with his book, everybody had to wait. It was all the revelations about how Trump knew that the virus was deadly and it wasn't a joke and it wasn't a flu and it wasn't going to disappear. But we had to wait until, I don't know, how many thousands, hundreds of thousands were already dead. Until, well, as far as his book. That's the most important thing. And Maggie Haberman, same thing. Now we know. Now we hear that Trump is, that he stole classified information, classified documents that are right at the top. It says top secret. Why isn't this fucker in jail? Really? Oh, well, I mean, if it was the shoe on the other foot, all we had to do for years now is endure these right-wingers talking about Hillary Clinton. She was careless. What about, I mean, that was on page 1 of the New York Times, how careless Hillary was with her emails. But the Republicans, different rules for them. And you better believe it. It's psychological projection. This is what they say all the time. They say that liberals are like, rules for thee, but not for me. But who the fuck? What are they talking? Everything that they say is either an admission of guilt or a psychological projection. Rules for thee, but not for me. Well. Here's your own
bad
con
things
man.
Came out today. You know those classified. You know the word classified.
She sent vast amounts of classified information, including information classified as top secret. Top secret.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Okay? And this is where they said that she was extremely careless and, frankly, I say, grossly incompetent. We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified. And maybe classified at the highest level. How sad.
How sad. Indeed. How sad that people vote. Not only did they vote for him, they want him back. They want the traitor back. And you better believe, Merrick Garland, Merrick the Mild or the Meek. Oh, what is he doing? You know that they would never arrest him, even though he needs to be arrested. You want to talk about lock him up? They wouldn't. Democrats wouldn't do it because they are, pretending that they're saying it's like what Johnson said to Everett Dirksen, exposing that he knew that Nixon was committing treason, and Everett Dirksen said, "I know. I don't want to get this in the campaign." That's the Democrats for you. I don't want to get this in the campaign. Well, maybe the American people needed to know that their president was the person who was vying to be the president was a goddamn traitor who didn't give a shit about the American people. He didn't give a shit that people were dying at Vietnam. He wanted them to keep dying because it was good for his political future. Not for the future of the men who died. That breaks my heart. When I go to Calvary Cemetery, I see graves of young men. Vietnam veterans. We'll have a little bit about them on it and where they died and how they died. And the flags are on their graves and mementos. But that's a dead young man. For what? What about Iraq? How many died in Iraq? How many people had to die for a lie? No one's responsible. There's no accountability because you can't. You just can't hold Republicans accountable, apparently, for some reason. They're talking about lock them up. But for what? Because we want health care? We're trying to get people health care. Lock them up. That's the billionaire class. That's the oligarchy. They're coming in for the kill. It's all about that. Greed. Greed is the only American value. And I'm sick of it. But you know that Joe Biden wouldn't be like, arrest that piece of wasted effing DNA. What did he do? He took classified information and he not only flushed it down the toilet, he shredded things. The January 6th committee has documents that are taped together. It's not this is not a minor thing. Each offense could get this fucker 5 years in jail, and that's how many things did he rip up? How many things did he put in a burn bag? Where's the missing tape? So apparently, it's just like Nixon when he had to hand over tapes, and there were however many minutes missing. This is the same thing. Trump is handing these phone logs. Well, where there's all these odd gaps when everybody knew who he was talking to. He was talking to people. This is a crook. It's a con man. The entire Trump crime family has an entire party of enablers and a billionaire apparatus. Oh, he's not a billionaire because he's a fucking grifter. Maybe he's a billionaire now. I don't know, because he had his filthy mouth on the federal treasury like a lamprey and sucked it dry as much as he could suck. But if we wouldn't be here if not for Democrats continuously letting treason slide by. Fly by the wayside. Oh, well, we can't get this into the campaign. The American people, what? At that time, the American people were so unified? No, at that time, people were in the streets again, fighting for civil rights, as we are, as we continue to do, and as the Republicans continue to vilify. You notice with the truckers, these fake-ass Astroturf Truckers in Canada, the Republicans, they want it here. They want the chaos to come here. Well, here's Fox News.
So the trucker convoy in Canada is pretty cool.
This is pretty impressive.
There's
a convoy 12 miles long.
It's pretty inspirational.
Canadian trucker convoys.
Truckers caravanning across Canada from Vancouver to Ottawa.
Thousands of truckers assembled at Vancouver this weekend to protest. They formed a freedom convoy.
Massive freedom convoy.
Now to that massive trucker demonstration.
Canada's freedom convoy.
Freedom convoy. Freedom convoy.
Freedom convoy.
The Freedom Convoy.
Could there be an American version of this trucker convoy?
What if this comes here? Seriously, think about what a trucker strike would mean.
It's not just about Canada now.
Bringing the freedom convoy to the U.S. of A.
Unbelievable. That's what they want. Bring the freedom convoy to the U.S. of A. What the fuck is a freedom convoy? A bunch of assholes funded by billionaires, Nazis, flying swastikas, flying the Confederate flag of losers and traitors, flying the Trump flag of losers and traitors, are blocking traffic. Oh, whoopee. These motherfuckers on Fox. And yeah, the cursing is off the chart tonight. I'm sorry. Everybody. I should have calmed down after Mark from A Radical U called. But yeah, Darlene on the Facebook chat says it's a tantrum convoy. That's what it is. But it's all, yeah, it is. I mean, the whole Republican Party is a bunch of toddlers and then they set their other toddlers out to have tantrums and poop their diapers and yell at people and threaten people and go to school boards and scream in people's faces about books and tell people not to say gay or look at the peepees. Let's see what peepee is where. Is it dressed appropriately? My son came home and he's an oppressor. My little kid. He came home. What did you learn in school today, Mommy? Mommy, I learned I'm an oppressor. Bullshit. Bullshit. But we all have to behave like it's not bullshit. Oh, they're sincere. We all have to pretend that this tantrum convoy is a bunch of sincere truckers who they don't want the tyranny of vaccine. How about you shut the... I mean, guys, arrest these fuckers. Arrest them. Get the cops and arrest them. But do you remember during Black Lives Matter how the Republicans, there wasn't such positive coverage. Freedom convoy coming to America. Oh yeah, you want that, bitch, because you want the American people at each other's throats. And you want the Democratic government, the Democratic Party, who's making the mistake of trying to give losers health care, I guess. That's your fear. Just like it's been since FDR. When you tried to overthrow FDR. And then you pulled your fucking Tea Party tantrum when Obama tried to give people health care. And when it was all about, well, all we want to do is regulate this rapacious assault that on the American people that continues to kill needlessly 35,000 Americans yearly and send millions into bankruptcy. That's what they are afraid of. They don't want that on top of everything. They don't want to be taxed, but they don't want any more unity. And that socialist security belongs to everyone. They hate that because that creates a unified country, that we're in this together. That's the overarching theme of socialist security, is that we're in this together. We have a responsibility to each other, that we have a democracy to cultivate, and that requires that a country where we have trust, we have care for each other. E pluribus unum, bitches. Not you, them. E fucking pluribus unum. That's the founders' motto. That's what they entrusted to us. They're saying, we're giving you a democratic republic if you can keep it. Follow the motto, and you'll be all right. I am sick of these Republicans. You know what I'm even sicker of? I'm sicker of the Democrats enabling it with their tacit approval of the Republican Party, as if they are a legitimate party and not a death cult, a fascist death cult coming for democracy herself. They have their fingers around democracy's throat and they're squeezing. But that requires us to be divided. And if this trucker convoy, what are they asking for? They're not fighting for freedom, these fucking morons. We know that. It's not about freedom. Black Lives Matter was about freedom. That's why they couldn't abide it. It's the same thing what happened with Occupy Wall Street. They had to break up Occupy Wall Street because it was an actual movement. But then you get, at the same time, there were the morons when Obama was elected in his first landslide election, these assholes, they had a tantrum. And they went to Washington and they were paraded around with their guns and their assault weapons. And I remember people went down to interview them, and they were morons. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They suck. They're stupid. They're dupes. And like Mark said, racist. And like I said, I say it all the time. That's the fundamental sickness in that the oligarchy latches onto. And then they divide and conquer us. Freedom? No, it's selfishness. It's sociopathy. It's a tantrum of a toddler. And God damn it, Joe Biden, call it out like it is. I don't know if you said anything about this convoy, but in general, the Democratic Party needs to grow a spine and stop apologizing for being on the right side of history and stop enabling the fascists. It's like, it's like Hindenburg in Germany and enabling Hitler to have power, thinking that they could control him, and if it's, that everything would function as normal. It isn't functioning. They are taking over the government illegitimately. And they are fascist. That's why Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about the gazpacho police and all this. Talking about, it's projection. They're calling Joe Biden a fascist. They're saying, everything is about, remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene said wearing a mask, which is a basic thing that any patriot can do because they give a shit about their fellow Americans. That's it. We're not asking them to storm the beaches of Normandy. We know that they wouldn't because they're cowards. we're asking them to put on a mask because maybe somebody might be immunocompromised, and you don't want them to die because they're part of your country and community. They don't see it like that. You understand? I am so sick of this shit because they are the minority. This is the tyranny of the minority. And if they get power in the midterms, they will kill this country for good. They will pull the plug on the grand experiment. Oh, the grand experiment? That shit's over. But they'll wrap it in all kinds of flags and eagles and patriotic bullshit. They will say that it's free, we're free. Just like that book, Milton Mayer, they thought they were free. How are you free when you are gerrymandered out of existence? When your vote doesn't matter, you're going through the pantomime of voting. That's what they did that's what the Supreme Court just allowed. There was one community that was primarily normal people who had darker pigment, and they took that community and they gerrymandered. They took people from that community and they put them in the other so-called safe Republican districts, but to the point where their vote is really null and void. It's nullified. They are shameless. And fucking Beer Bong Brett said, oh, it's too close to the election. That was one of his justifications because of fixing the facts around the policy. He said it's too close to the election. That you see how craven they are? And stupid. They're craven and stupid, but the stupidity, it goes hand in hand with the racism. In order to be a racist, if you're a racist, you're a dumbass. That's the bottom line. Here, let's, just for history's sake, I'm going to read some of this article from the Rolling Stone. I sounded like an old lady there, right? The Rolling Stone. Hey, it's okay. I am old. I'm old. Getting older every day if I'm lucky. Where's my eCam, though? That's the real problem. Where's my eCam? Why isn't it not fucking working? Something's wrong with the eCam. Everything is wrong tonight. This is so bizarre. I can't seem to get the eCam up. This is weird. I have no controls. Oh, okay. Here we go. They came back. Fuckity fuck. All right. That's life, right? We do it anyway. All right. Here's from the Rolling Stone. Where is it? Hi, Ray. You want to see Ray? I wish he was here. Ray makes it all okay. He's sitting there. He's cute. Hold on. That's why we don't have any patrons. Well, we have patrons, but we need a lot more, to put it mildly. Okay, here's from Rolling Stone. The plot against American democracy that isn't taught in schools. In an excerpt from Gangsters of Capitalism, Jonathan M. Katz details how the authors of the Depression-era business plot aim to take away power from FDR and stop his, quote-unquote, socialist New Deal. And it was socialist. That's why it worked. Regulating capitalism, giving the working people a goddamn chance. It's just about giving people a fair share of the profits their labor makes possible, and then laying the groundwork, laying down the infrastructure of democracy. And that's what the Democrats need to call it. Democrats, are you listening? I hope you are. You're probably not, but your Build Back Better is the infrastructure of democracy. That's how you have to frame it. Joe Biden needs to get his ass out there and talk like FDR. He needs to get angry. He needs to welcome their hatred. He needs to talk about the dagger at the neck of democracy that these fuckers are holding. And he needs to explain to the morons that we're in this together. E pluribus unum is our rallying cry. But we don't have a democracy with this kind of concentrated wealth. I have yet to hear any Democrats say that, except, well, Bernie Sanders isn't a Democrat. The person who should be saying that is the standard bearer of the party, Joe Biden. He should get his ass out there. I want to see angry Biden, and get his ass out there and tell and explain to the American people, we can either have concentrated wealth in the hands of a few, or we can have a democracy, but we can't have both. So award-winning journalist Jonathan M. Katz's new book, Gangsters of Capitalism, Smedley Butler, the Marines, and the Making and Breaking of American Empire, is an explosive deep dive into the forgotten history. Why? Why is it forgotten, right? It is explosive. It's outrageous. And it shows, you know why it's not taught in school? Because the rich own this government. And they don't want it taught in schools. They would rather have the fucking Republicans out there talking about fake-ass crack pipes being distributed, which is an outright lie that they made up and ran with. So General Smedley Butler, a Marine who fought in nearly every U.S. overseas war in the early 20th century. In this exclusive excerpt, Katz documents how Butler played a pivotal role in an equally little-known episode in which a cadre of powerful businessmen tried to overthrow the government of the United States. So for 33 years and 4 months, Butler had been a U.S. Marine, a veteran of nearly every overseas conflict, back to the war against Spain in 1898. Respected by his peers, beloved by his men, he was known as the Fighting Hell Devil Marine, Old Gimlet Eye, and the Leatherneck's Friend, and the famous Fighting Quaker of the Devil Dogs. Best-selling books have been written about him. Hollywood adored him. President Roosevelt's cousin, the late Theodore himself, was said to have called Butler the ideal American soldier. Over the course of his career, he had received the Army and Navy Distinguished Service Medals, the French Order of, Étoile Noire. Yeah, I know. And in the distinction that would ensure his place in Marine Corps Pantheon, the Medal of Honor twice, which is unheard of. Butler knew what most Americans did not. In all those years, he and his Marines had destroyed democracies and helped put into power the Hitlers and Mussolinis of Latin America. Dictators like the Dominican Republic's Rafael Trujillo, I can't say that, whatever. And Nicaraguan's soon-to-be leader, Anastasio Somoza. The men who would employ violent repression and their U.S.-created militaries to protect American investments and their own power. And we know that the American people don't know that history, that we destroyed Latin American countries, democracies. We didn't want democracies breaking out. They wanted oligarchies. They wanted moneyed interests, big moneyed interests. That's it. So he had done so on behalf of the moneyed interests like Citibank, J.P. Morgan, and the Wall Street financier Grayson M.P. Murphy. And now a bond salesman who worked for Murphy was pitching Butler on a domestic operation that set off the old veterans' alarm bells. The bond salesman was Gerald C. McGuire, a 37-year-old Navy veteran with a head Butler thought looked like a cannonball. McGuire had been pursuing Butler relentlessly through 1933 and 1934, starting with visits to Butler's converted farmhouse in Philadelphia. In Newark, where Butler was attending the reunion of a National Guard division, McGuire showed up at his hotel room and tossed a wad of cash on the bed. $18,000, he said. In early 1934, Butler had received a series of postcards from McGuire sent from the hot spots of fascist Europe, including Hitler's Berlin, which, the big moneyed interests love. No labor unions? You mean you locked up all the labor union organizers? You put them in concentration camps? Wonderful. You mean you had the night of the long knives? You purged your opposition by arresting 5,000 communists, so-called, after the Reichstag fire, including your political opponent, who you were in an active campaign. There was an election coming up, and you fucking arrested the guy? We love it. On August 34th, McGuire called Butler from Philadelphia and asked to meet. Butler suggested an abandoned cafe at the back of the lobby of the Bellevue Stratford Hotel. First, McGuire recounted all he had seen in Europe. He'd learned that Mussolini and Hitler were able to stay in power because they kept soldiers on their payrolls in various ways. But that setup wouldn't suit us at all, the businessman opined. But in France, McGuire had found just the exact organization we're going to have, called the Croix de Feu, the Fiery Cross. It was like a more militant version of the American Legion, an association of French World War veterans and paramilitaries. On February 6, 1934, 6 weeks before McGuire arrived, the Fiery Cross had taken part in a riot of mainly far-right and fascist groups that had tried to storm the French legislature. See this shit? Like they stormed the fucking Capitol. The insurrection was stopped by police. At least 15 people, mostly rioters, were killed. But in the aftermath, French's center-left prime minister had been forced to resign in favor of a conservative, which led to, they're the ones who collaborated with Hitler. The Vichy French regime, there were many, of course, some went along, but the Vichy regime were welcoming to fascism, just like they did in other parts of the world when the Nazis invaded. When they invaded Poland, when they took over Norway, they were enabled by conservatives. The conservatives are always the enemies of democracy. I'm not saying it. Look at history. Then he said McGuire had attended a meeting in Paris. It was the sort of super organization, he said, he believed Americans could get behind, especially with a beloved war hero like Butler at the helm. Then he made his proposal. The Marine would lead 500,000 veterans in a march on Washington, blending the Fiery Cross's assault on the French legislature with the march on Rome that had put Mussolini in power a decade earlier. They would be financed and armed by some of the most powerful corporations in America, including DuPont, the nation's biggest manufacturer of explosives and synthetic materials. The purpose of the action was to stop Roosevelt's New Deal. It never stops, right? Which one of the millionaire DuPont brothers deemed, quote unquote, nothing more or less than socialist doctrine, called by another name. Butler's veteran army, McGuire explained, would pressure the president to appoint a new Secretary of State, or otherwise known as a Secretary of General Affairs, who would take on the executive powers of government. Not the president. This is the coup, like the Green Bay sweep. Unreal. If Roosevelt went along, he would be allowed to remain as a figurehead, like the King of Italy or something. Otherwise, he would be forced to resign, placing the new super secretary in the White House. Right? All I need, come on, guys, I just need you to find 13,000 votes and 1 vote. Come on, what are you going to do? Fucking scums. Butler recognized this immediately as a coup. He knew the people who were allegedly behind it. He had made a life in the overlapping seams of capital and empire, and he knew that the subversion of democracy by force had turned out to be a required part of the job he had chosen. As he said, I spent most of my time being a high-class muscle man for big business, for Wall Street, and for the bankers, Butler would write a year later. In short, I was a racketeer for capitalism, and that's from his book, War is a Racket. And Butler knew another thing that most Americans didn't, how much they would suffer if anyone did to their democracy what he had done to so many others across the globe. Now, about this super organization, McGuire asked the general, would you be interested in heading it? I'm interested in it, but I don't know about heading it, Butler told the bond salesman as he resolved to report everything he had learned to Congress. I'm very greatly interested because, Jerry, my one hobby is maintaining democracy. If you get those 500,000 soldiers advocating anything smelling of fascism, I'm going to get 500,000 more to lick the hell out of you. And we will have a real war right here at home. That's what Butler said. 8 decades after he publicly revealed his conversation about what became known as the business plot, Smedley Butler is no longer a household name. A few history buffs and a not inconsiderable number of conspiracy theory enthusiasts remember him for whistleblowing of the fascist coup, of the alleged fascist coup. Another repository of his memory is kept among modern-day Marines who learn one detail of his life in boot camp, the 2 Medals of Honor, and to sing his name along with those of the legendary Marine contemporaries, Dan Daly and Louis Chesty Puller, and in running cadence about the devotion to the Corps, it was good for Smedley Butler and it's good enough for me. That's part of, I guess, I don't know the cadence, so... But that's what they say when they're marching and running. I first encountered the other side of Butler's legacy in Haiti after I moved there to be a correspondent for the Associated Press. The Haitians, to Haitians, Butler is no hero. He is remembered by scholars as their most evil or corrupt Marine. So the thing about Smedley Butler is he basically atoned. He knew what his first part of his life as a Marine, like he said, he was a gangster for capitalism, and he did that job well. So he overthrew democratically elected governments. Okay. I mean, this is an article from Rolling Stone, like I said. It's very long. I suggest you all read it. It's by Jonathan Katz. And it is an excerpt of his book about the business plot. But this is something, don't you think, that every American should know about? We would know about it if we were in a true functioning democracy. That's it. Because they would teach it as a warning. Look, these fuckers, these business fuckers, these 1%ers, the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, these scumbags who went to see the big blue marble but learned nothing, I guess. I don't know. They went up in space to master with a big dick, too, to just kind of rub it in our faces. slap us across the face with their dick and tell us how great it was. It was really it's like a spiritual experience seeing that beautiful blue marble where people are unable to save $400 even though they work full time and have a side gig, and everywhere you look you're being assaulted. Living in this country is like it's stress. It's constant stress. In my opinion, you're stressing out about these fascists, the lies, stressing out about the Democrats, the weak ass fucking Democrats doing nothing about it. Well, that's what we need. Somebody like Smedley Butler. You gonna bring 500,000 fascists? Well, I'll bring 500,000 normal people, patriots, to kick your ass and send you back to history's trash pile. That's what they need to go. That's how Joe Biden needs to talk. He needs to get out there and say, we had our American citizens, young men, storming the beaches of Normandy. They lost their lives, some, so we can have a democracy, so Europe wouldn't fall to fascism, so the United States wouldn't fall to fascism, even though there are fascists everywhere. They need to be nullified legally and peacefully, but they certainly need to be exposed and dealt with openly, honestly, maturely. Adulting these toddlers would mean sending them into timeout. Okay, we're the adult. All right, toddlers. Time to go. Take a nap. You don't invite them in. I mean, it's all this time. The Democrats don't ever seem to learn anything. Remember when Obama went to the Republican meeting, the lunch, and he was up there taking questions, having debates openly with these filthy fuckers who know nothing, who are stupid, who are selfish, dumb. If only they were love Jesus, please. I constantly hear about how much they love Jesus. Well, don't tell me, show me. Show me, assholes. It's in your work. Wouldn't it be? It's in your love of your fellow American. No. You gotta arm everybody to the fucking teeth. You gotta let assholes get assault weapons and go kill toddlers while they're in school. I had somebody post on the Tarabuster Facebook page. I said something about, let's get back to normal. It was a meme. And it said, getting back to normal. One of the schools, they had a picture of kids with masks on, and then a Republican going, let's get back to normal. And then there was a picture of kids hiding under their desks while a scumbag walks around with an assault weapon killing people. That's the normal we got to get back to. And some fucker wrote on in the comments, if you hate that, if you hate the NRA, wait till I introduce something about hating the NRA for killing kids. Wait till I introduce you to Planned Parenthood. Really? And of course, once again, that's another example of the fact that the first of all, I know the Republicans they have blockheads that you can't, things don't penetrate reality, facts, and but that's the fault of the Democrats right there. They never respond to Republicans when they talk about they love. Well, first of all, that's his comment, of course, meant Planned Parenthood kills babies, right? That's the comment. So let's do nothing about kids actually dying in school and the PTSD that all children have now because they have to go to fucking live shooter drills. They should all be ashamed. Republicans, Democrats, this whole country should be ashamed that we have live shooter drills in schools. You know? It's offensive. But, okay. The thing is, you don't like abortion, scumbag? Then vote Democratic. Because abortion rates go down under Democratic policies. Why is that so hard for Democrats to say? Okay? When they say, when Republicans say pro-life, why don't the Democrats respond with laughter? What do you mean pro-life? You're pro-birth. You're not pro-life. You're pro-misogyny and women in bondage. Forcing women to have babies, children that they can't, for whatever reason, they can't afford. I mean, the fact is that the economic reasons, as studies show, are the number one reason a woman would have an abortion. And then there are other reasons, but no woman was going to be like, fuck it, I'm going to have an abortion. You know, I carried this baby 9 months. Let me have a partial birth abortion, you scumbags. Like a woman is going to carry something 9 months and just be like, fuck it, kill it. Right? Who do they think we are? Who do they think that they're dealing with? That's why they have to walk around with assault weapons all the time. They are living in a madness in their minds. What country that's unified needs everybody having an assault weapon? That's what always bothers me, too, besides everything else, is that Democrats don't say, where do these fuckers live? They think they need, they're sending out Christmas cards with kids from age 2 on up. Everyone is holding an AK-47, and they look like idiots. They look like the idiots they are. But they think it's, I don't know, why? Why would you do that? It's crazy. But, okay. Crazy is that's their superpower. But how these Republicans have the nerve to continue calling themselves Party of Life and saying things like, oh, if you think NRA is bad, wait till you see Planned Parenthood. Well, Planned Parenthood saves lives. Absolutely. Not only the NRA kills, it also kills your soul, your spirit, your country, your unity, your humanity, God damn it. This country is broken. And I'm honestly sick of it. And we're sick from it. Everybody's sick of it, though. But the other assholes, the fucking Republicans, I know the cursing is crazy tonight, but excuse me. But the Republican, it's off the chart. They're nuts. They are suffering. And instead of helping, instead of getting these assholes the help they need and making it possible for them to have the help they need, what do? They just divide. But the Democrats never respond. I've never heard a Democrat respond to a Republican when they say party, I'm a pro-life. They even say it on TV. What are you calling them pro-life? They're not pro-life, scummies. They're pro-death. And they're pro-birth, if at all. They're pro-subjugation and division and ignorance. If you don't like abortion, then lay the groundwork for an upwardly mobile and economically secure working class majority that has access to health care. Well, not access. It has fucking health care. I got access to a Rolls Royce, too, if I want it. But it ain't happening. You don't like abortion? Vote Democratic. Lay the groundwork. That's why the Democrats are annoying. They don't have a message. This is the message. They're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. And if you don't like abortion, and as people don't like abortion, but we also don't like putting our government noses into somebody's private business. And that's what Roe v. Wade was decided on, privacy. But as you know, fascism needs the subjugation of women and targeted minority groups. It's all part of it. So they want their filthy Republican noses in your doctor's office. And it doesn't matter the hypocrisy. They, like these Supreme Court scums, talking about stare decisis and precedent. No, they wiped their ass with precedent, just like that con man wiped his ass with classified documents while lying about Hillary Clinton. All of those charges that he was talking about at his Nuremberg rallies are lies. But, yeah, if you don't like abortion, vote Democratic. And if you don't like abortion, why aren't you for Medicare for all? Why aren't you for taxing the rich? High marginal tax rates on the filthy fascist rich, so they don't have all this mad money to go running around corrupting government with. And the other thing is, why not get money out of politics? So these are the things that will make the rates of abortion go down. Education, economics, and I don't know, living wages. It's all of those things. Family planning, education, opportunity. When you have an upwardly mobile working class majority, the abortion rates go down. And if somebody finds themselves pregnant accidentally, they're like, oh, okay, we have 3 kids. It's okay. Happy accident, I guess. We can afford bringing another child into this world, this fucked up world, because we live in an upwardly mobile and economically vibrant, working class centered democratic republic. It's not me just talking about it. That's what the studies say. And they say it too. My God. I'm trying to find you guys now. I can't. Everything's off the rack and the rails tonight. It really is. Everything I thought was working is not working. I hope it's what the fuck? I just went into the chat room. What? Now I see the chat room, and I'm losing my mind. First of all, thank you, JD, for your super chat. In pounds, you lucky bastard. JD says, hi, folks. And JD, I love you. And River, what the mother... River, you're amazing. River has 2 incredibly generous super chats that... really, that will help. Thank you, River. We never give in, never give up. The good fight. Love you, Tara. Love you right back, my friend. And River says, happy Valentine's. Thank you, River. With another super chat of incredible proportions. Maybe I can buy a new cord for this mic. I got to figure out what's going on. Everything's fucked up. And thank you, Mark C, for your super chat. Our guest tonight. You don't got to pay me to get on the air here. This show will also be on Progressive Voices, so I hope a lot of people hear Mark C's interview. It was great. Because listening to Mark, even your voice, Mark, was soothing. And yeah, I love that you help people, the whole person, because we are spiritual beings in a human experience. That was something that, we say in the room, spiritual beings in a human experience. And I agree 100%. And we talk about spirituality on the show, and my take on it is it's really boiled down to we are all connected, e pluribus unum. That's another way. There's nothing more Buddhist than e pluribus unum. Mamma miho. Haiku, thank you for your super chat. And also being the moderator of the chat room, a fair and balanced chat room. Thank you, John, for your super chat. My God, we got super chats coming out of the wazoo. Thank you, guys. That helps a lot. It also means a lot. And it helps because, this shit ain't free. These mics ain't free. I guess maybe I need a new mic, too. This is a very good mic. It was not cheap either. Something's up. And then, the eCam, that costs. Everything costs money. That's the way it is. Make the world go around. But if anything, I hope that I hope we don't fail. This country doesn't fail. But there's so many things. The other week, we had Jeffrey Vogel on the show, remember, from the New York City Labor Chorus. Oh, I see you. Hi, Nikki. Nikki Goldenheart has joined the chat room at youtube.com/C for channel /Tarabuster. Haven't seen Nikki in a while. How you doing? So we have a great chat room. I'm just saying it for others who are on other platforms. Come on over and hang out with these cool guys and gals. Humans in general. Humans, for real. They know it's not just a, human. Be human. Be a human. Not a goddamn Republican. It's unbelievable. Let me look. Let me see. We're going to go a little long tonight because I have to. I know I messed up the time. So I don't know if we'll need some more. I'll need something to fill in if there's something, you know what I mean? If there's some dead air somewhere. Because I have to make specific length pieces to send to Progressive Voices. Why can't I talk? I don't know. And I hate when that happens because it makes my job so much harder and it takes a long time. All right. But there's other things to talk about. Holy moly. Irene, contribution to the new Mike and Cord Fund, and happy Valentine's Day, Tarabuster and friends. Thank you so much, Irene. You're right. I love the Valentine's messages, too. Because, you are my Valentines. We have so much work to do. Okay, what was I saying? So you guys know Jeffrey from the Labor Chorus. I think the show is going to end any minute, though. Or maybe not. The fuck? Everything got fucked up. I think. Wait, what time is it? Holy shit! It's after 10. I think the music went away. Something got fucked up, so I'll have to add it. I think we're good. But anyway, let me just tell you the story, and then we'll end the show. So, I ran into Jeffrey Vogel from the New York City Labor Chorus. He was on the show the other week, and he said that, and maybe this person is listening, that this man called him on the phone because they found his phone number online, and they were very upset about their own life, and the labor unions weren't doing work or helping the helping him and helping others, and it was a couple of messes. He was very angry, and I felt really bad. I mean, Jeff told me about it, and he played the message, but I felt bad because this is a human being who is suffering, and yeah, he's right. He's got a point. For example, greed is the only American value, and labor unions who built the middle class, and now at one time during the New Deal they were 35% of the workforce. Now they're 5%, less than 5%. I mean, in the private sector it's worse, right? So I think I might be, anyway, it's around 5%. It's appalling how labor unions have been assaulted, and that was because of Reaganomics. And what happens when you do that? So you assault labor unions, and you shrink them down, so like Grover Norquist said, to the size that you can drown in a bathtub. And I think about that sick-ass metaphor, how he wants to drown government, the government that the founders fought a revolution to entrust to us, the government that the men who died on the beaches of Normandy gave their lives for. He wants to drown. Why don't the Democrats point that out? Okay, I wish they would. But so this man was suffering, and the fact is, here, let me just make an example. Here in New York, so labor unions are not perfect, and they are also part of, they are, I'm trying to phrase this correctly, influenced by greed as well, and big moneyed interests. So, and trying to survive, all right? Because, for example, here in New York, there is a single payer bill, and we're trying to get it passed. Single payer health care in New York. We're like what happened in California. We all were hoping that California would pass single payer. And what the fuck is happening with it? Nothing. Anyway, so here in New York, same thing. We have a single payer bill, and it's getting momentum, and we have a Democratic legislature. But you know who's against it? Well, of course, the big moneyed interests, but also labor unions are fighting against it because they don't want to use or lose one of their selling points. So because labor unions have been so assaulted and shrunk to the size that can be drowned in a bathtub, they need to have something to offer, right? So they tell their members that, yeah, we can get you, we have negotiated great health care plans for you. And they don't want to let go of that. Because what are they going to do then? They will be 5% of the workforce, and they're up against the billionaires. So what are they going to do? They will be considered, oh, well, why do I want to join a union? We get that anyway. We get it anyway. People say that, I got to pay dues. Well, the point is, we're in it together. So if we negotiate as a union, as a block, as a bunch of us, we have more power than sitting alone. You have nothing. They have all the power. You won't even have a seat at the table. But it's all been influenced by this greed and, it's fear as well. Fear of losing what they have and what we have. And it keeps us divided. The game. Of course, if we had single payer, if we had universal health care, it would be great. If the unions would they would get to negotiate better pay, better working conditions, better retirement security. That's also been ravaged by Reaganomics. So why are businesses and unions in the business of healthcare? Because it's another fucking way they divide us, and it's, they like that. The people at the top like, see how they have won. Reaganomics has done its damage. We need the voice of truth, the voice of reason. We need us. We need this show. We need Robin Kincaid, Mike Malloy, all of the voices that are trying to cut through this. Maybe Democrats will listen. I hope. I do. I call them and I say, what the hell? I give them these ideas. I told Tom Hartman, tell these fuckers when they come on your show, we are building the infrastructure of democracy. That's the talking point. Don't back down. You don't have to apologize for being on the right side of history. Be proud to be a Democrat. Talk about what, we're the party of democracy. But the fact is, many of them are also sucking on the corporate teat, like Nancy Pelosi. So, anyway, we got a lot of problems. And on that, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And thank you all for your amazing and generous super chats. It really does help. And I will be doing some research and investing in whatever. I got to get a new cord for sure. Probably a new mic. I got to figure out why you guys can't hear the music, but I can. And yeah, we will win. Yeah, Nikki Goldenheart says, is Mike Malloy still doing a show? Yeah, he's still doing a show. He's on Progressive Voices. Yep, you can listen to him on Progressive Voices. And MikeMalloy.com. All right, my friend. Remember to go to aradicalU.com for Mark C's great and amazing, awesome, and I don't know. He's a human. He's a human helping humans. That's what we do. We need each other. And Mark can help you help you with your birthright, which is happiness. We were all born to be happy. But look at me. I'm like, does this look happy? I don't know. All right. But I am happy when I hang out with you guys. Because you do give me hope. Suzanne asks, how's Tara Jr.? He's doing all right. He's doing kind. He's doing good. Kind. He's kind. No, he's not. He's not kind. He is a brat to Ray. That's a little annoying. It's so sad because Ray is trying to be his friend. And he's trying. But Tara Jr., it's been over a year now, but Tara Jr. doesn't want anything to do with it. And I think, I explained before, I think that he associates Ray with being sick. That came, when Ray got here and he got them sick. And I think that's how they think. So I think that it's stuck in his mind that Ray is something that gets him sick. So every time he sees him, he's like, even though I feed them together, I give them treats, I do all the Jackson Galaxy things. It's getting a little better, but it's not. It's kind of annoying. But he's all right. I love him. I love him. He's my little honey. I love him. I love them all. But Tara Jr. is special. He's toilet trained. Isn't that great? I got to toilet train these others, but it might be too late. Francis used to be toilet trained, but he started peeing on the floor, and then I had to give him the litter box, and then Ray came. So he's using the litter box, but Tara Jr. still uses the toilet, even though there's a litter box. That's how he's a human inside. He's more human than Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's for sure. But we have more work to do. I think we might have a show on Monday. I'm hoping. I am hoping. Here's to hoping. I hope that I have this fixed soon. And remember, we will win. That's right. Because, you know it, we're on the right side of history. Right? We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out, for giving me hope, for all your generosity to keep the show going and growing. If you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And we stick together. We win. My name is Tara Devlin, and I will see you very soon.